Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Virtual Bites cooking show. It is Wednesday, February 24th, and that is National Pink Shirt Day, where we stand up against bullying. So I've got my fancy shirt on from Boys and Girls Club today to promote awareness for this. And it's not just, Dave's got his too. And it's not just today that we can only wear pink or talk about anti-bullying. This is something that needs to be talked about all year round. So that's why we've changed up our look a little bit today. Before we dive into our recipe, we have a special guest that's come in today. So while our special guest comes on in, I'm going to throw my mask on just because we are going to practice our social distancing and our safety today. So I'm going to throw that on, and our special guest is going to come in and see if it's the person you think it might be.
Adrian!
Dave, how's it going?
Good. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you too.
Welcome back, Adrian.
Hi there.
So Adrian is in town. Well, why don't you talk a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm back in town from school. I'm doing school from my computer online, and I'm having a blast. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to be at home, and so I thought I would stop by the club and help out Laura today.
We missed having you. Those of you who were with us in the summer, we had Adrian come in for quite a few of our classes over the summertime, and then he went away to school and used some of those skills. Actually, what were you just telling me that you bought to do some cooking at in your residence?
I bought myself an induction hot plate so I could do some cooking for my room.
So that's awesome, and we're so happy to have Adrian back. Unfortunately, with the times, you couldn't stay down in Southern Ontario, but you're up here safer with family and all of that. So today, I'm going to teach you and everyone at home how to make a very simple chocolate mousse. It's a light, fluffy dessert that looks very fancy. We're going to plate it up fancy later, and it's going to be done in no time at all. So Adrian, in the freezer, I have a big silver bowl chilling for our mix master. If you want to go ahead and grab that,
Sounds good.
That would be great. So everybody at home, we're going to be using our mix master today. We have this fantastic KitchenAid here, but if you don't have that, a regular hand mixer will work. That's the one where you just hold it like this and the blades spin. And if you don't have anything and you want to use good old arm power, that will also work, and you're just going to have to whip away. The reason we're using a bowl out of the freezer is it's going to help to keep our mousse cold, and it'll come together a little quicker. So I'm actually going to pop this section off. Okay, Adrian, these are going to go right on the stand there. And then we're going to pop that back on. And then this particular KitchenAid, it's really cool. That knob, you just turn it and it'll lift the bowl right up to the KitchenAid.
Okay.
On the other side?
On the other side.
That's the power button. Don't
That
turn
would
that
be
on.
the power button.
This one right here.
Ah, there you go.
There we go.
Whoa, do that again. Do it again.
Ready? Ready? We're gonna go slow-mo this time. Whoa.
Families at home. For those of you that don't know, Adrian and Dave spent the last few summers working together on a team with our, what we call our Titan Summer Group, our oldest group, doing fun games, team leadership, crafts, sports, all of this. So they've been missing each other quite a bit this whole time.
We also called it the Dream Team.
Yes, they had a staff of the month, and it was usually one or the other of them. And I think actually, Adrian, Dave still has a picture of you hanging in his office.
Well,
so
yeah, staff of the month.
It's a strong friendship. So they're excited to be together as well right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back over here, Dave, with our ingredients. We're gonna try to stay somewhat focused today. So we're using a standard whipping cream right here. This is 35% cream. This is very, very thick. That 35% means that that's the fat content. So you don't want to be drinking this with your cereal or in your coffee or in your cup. We usually drink a 1 or 2% milk, and that percentage means fat content. So that's 35%. This, if we over whip it today, this will actually make us butter, but we're not going to do that. Then over here we've got icing sugar, also known as powdered sugar, and then we're using cocoa, which is an unsweetened chocolate powder. Okay, and then finally we're going to finish it off with just a little touch of vanilla. Even though we're making a chocolate mousse, it's nice to add in that extra hint of vanilla flavor. So Adrian, I'm going to get you to pour in, and it's going to be thick, I'm going to get you to pour in 1.5 cups of whipping cream. So you're going to go to the 12 right there, because the way that this particular measuring cup is. Okay, while Adrian's going to do that, I'm going to get set up over here on mixing our icing sugar and our chocolate cocoa powder. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something called sifting. So right here I've got my sieve, and what this is gonna do is gonna take out any extra lumps that are in the powders. And that way when we add it into our mixer, it's a nice smooth consistency. We don't have any weird lumps. Adrian, you can go ahead and pour that in the bowl.
Sounds good.
We're gonna start that low, so you families at home, you're gonna hear a little bit of that mixer sound behind. Won't be as loud as our blender from last week. Spilled a little there, but that's good. So just started at probably level 2 for about a minute, and then at 4, and we're looking for it to start to get a little thick like pudding, but not stiff. This is all we have, so if we overwork it, we'll be showing you guys how to make butter today instead. So Adrian's gonna do that. Perfect. So over here, we're gonna measure out. We're gonna use 1/4 cup of our cocoa powder. And because we're not baking, I don't need it to be
Turn your mic off.
super measured. Oh, that's a good idea, yeah. That'll pick up less. So we're gonna dump in. And Dave, if you want to come right up and close here, you can see that it doesn't really fall through the holes because it's so small. And then we're going to add in 1/2 cup of our icing sugar. I'm just going to use my hand on the bag here. I'm going to dump that in. So this is going to mix everything together. Put that off to the side just like that. And then I'm just going to use the back of my palm and I'm going to tap it. And it's going to look like it's snowing in the bowl. But what it's doing is it's getting rid of all of those lumpies, making sure we have a nice smooth finish with our mousse. Oh, and I can hear Adrian's turning that blender up, or the mixer, and we need that speed to start to form our, incorporate air into our whipping cream to make it have that light, fluffy texture. So you can see all these little extra balls that have formed. And I can just actually take the back of my measuring cup and kind of press those out a little bit. Just like that. And if we have a little bit left over, then that's okay. So Adrian, how's it going over here?
Well, our mixture looks to be slightly frothy, and it looks like it thickened up a little bit. So what do you think, Lauren?
Okay, let's turn that off. We're gonna take the back of our spoon and we're just gonna see if it's thickened up. Not quite a bit. See how, and you can see at home there, see how much it still moves around? Like basically looking like milk. So we're gonna high power that up to get some more air incorporated. We're on our way, so let's turn that up to about an 8. It's gonna get pretty loud, boys and girls. Oh, Adrian's gonna turn his mic off. There we go. Stay at that temperature for that speed for a few minutes. That'll really incorporate lots of air into it, and we'll start to see it thicken up quite a bit more. So probably about a minute. We're gonna let that go forward. Okay, so as you can see now, that mixture has really thickened itself up. So this is what we call a soft peak. You can see the lines go through, but it's not folding. They're softening back out. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add just a teaspoon of our vanilla, just to kind of give it that extra little depth of flavor. So Adrian, I'm going to pour it over this so I don't spill all of it into the bowl, because that would suck. And you let me know when that gets all mixed up together. I'm just going to wait till all that brown kind of mixes in.
Sounds good.
Okay, and then as we're doing now, we want to keep it mixing. We want to get to form those stiff peaks, get more air in. We're going to turn our mixer up to about a 4, and I'm going to slowly start to incorporate our icing sugar and our cocoa powder. So that's going to give us our chocolate flavor. We're also going to get the sweetness from the icing sugar, and it's going to help hold the peaks of that whipping cream. So Adrian's going to turn that up a bit. No, Adrian, actually I'm going to get you to turn it down. We always think about this. If it was high and I dumped this sugar in, it would go all over Adrian and I. So we're going to do it this way, as to not cover our lovely pink shirts. Just like that. Okay, so we're gonna turn that off for a second. And we're gonna use that handy dandy crank to drop the bowl. I'm gonna use my spoon here just to make sure everything is scooped off the sides. We have no extra powder, and you can really see it's starting to look like a very loose pudding, like that. So now we're gonna put it back on that high speed and get the air whipped right into it, get it all mixed up. And then we're almost done. So lift that bowl back up and take it away, Adrian.
All right.
So you can see already, now it's starting to get those stiff peaks. We can see that it's still holding from that, the air coming into it. We don't want to take it too far because then again, we'll turn this into a chocolate flavored butter, and I'm pretty sure nobody would like the taste of that. So I'm going to drop that down, and I just broke the knob off. Where did it fall from? Oh my goodness, we just broke a little piece of our blender mixer. Anyways, let's drop that back down, Adrian. Looks good. So you can really see how much it's holding. So we're going to use our spoon to kind of get most of this off. We want to make sure we get all that excess off of the beater itself. And if you're doing it with Mixmaster, you're going to pop out your beaters and do the same thing. So Adrian, you can dispose of that by either getting a pre-taste or in the sink, whichever you prefer. You can't not lick a mixer.
That's good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're gonna get on to our step of plating. We're gonna move everything off to the side here. What I have is a regular, plain old, brand new plastic bag. You can use a Ziploc bag. If you have a piping bag at home, you can go ahead and use that too. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna turn that inside out like this, kind of around my hand. Or if you have a tall cup, you can put that in there. So I'll show you that method. Now we don't want to play with our mousse too much because we don't want to take that air out of it. So we're going to take our bag, we're going to pop it over this measuring cup like this. So now, Adrian, do you want to give this a try?
Yeah.
Okay, so Adrian's going to take the spatula and he is going to scoop our chocolate mousse into that bag. And try and get it as deep down into the bag as you can. You can hold the sides if you need to.
Yeah, that would be a good idea, eh?
Just like that. That's why we want it folded over. And then you can actually spread it on the side like that. Once you get the first few in, gravity will help us and it'll go down into that bag. So try and scoop as much as you can in there. And see how Adrian's just doing one scoop. He's not mixing it, he's just lifting it and then putting it in that bag. Touching it as little as possible because we don't want to release all that air that has given us this nice fluffy mousse. And you don't want to overfill your bag too much because then it'll just explode out the top. So, probably one more scoop, Adrian. Excellent. So, do you want to go to the fridge and get our containers?
Yes.
We've left our glass serving containers in the fridge. Again, that extra cold will just help our mousse also hold the cold so that it stays nice and fresh. So we're gonna push it down. So I'm grabbing the top of the bag and I'm just gently making sure that I squeeze as much down into the bottom. We've done piping in our cooking class way back when we made our cupcakes, when we did our cream cheese frosting. So we go ahead and we just snip off just a little tip. Well, because we're filling jars, we can go a little bit of a bigger. Actually, Adrian, can you hold that corner?
Of course.
I will not cut your fingers, I promise. There we go. So now we've created that little bit of a hole. We're using nice mason jars. It gives a really cool rustic look. And so I'm gonna squeeze the top, rest the bag in the palm of my hand, and I'm gonna squeeze. And I'm gonna kind of go a bit in a circle fashion, and it gives us this really cool, fancy, airy look.
Almost a Dairy Queen look.
It actually, yeah, it does. It's almost the way it looks soft serve ice cream. Just like that. Adrian, you put like the perfect amount in this bag.
Perfect.
Just enough for both of us, and then Dave.
I get the bowl.
Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? Dave will get the bowl. So that works perfect. Like that. There we go. And then I'm gonna grab 2 spoons. What we've done is you can put any extra toppings you'd like. So Adrian, you're talking about your coconut cream pie that you made.
Yep.
So I grabbed some coconut for decoration. I've also got some chocolate chips here that we can add, and I'll grab us some spoons. There we go. So if you want to add any toppings to yours, I'm going to throw some.
Could you put whipping cream on it?
You could if we had saved some from before we added in the chocolate, and then we could whip that up quickly, or even if you have like a spray can or like a Cool Whip in a tub, you can make a topping like that with it. But
Could you put sprinkles on it?
yes, Dave, you could put sprinkles.
Can you put hot sauce on it?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to, but we don't recommend hot sauce on sweet things. Adrian, how do you feel about that?
I probably wouldn't try it.
Do you want any chocolate
Yeah,
chips?
trade you.
Perfect. And then you'll end up with that spoon, and I'll end up with this spoon. Get it in the nooks and crannies there. So then, and then you can put your spoon in it if you're, this is our dessert in our series of cooking that we've done. We did the palate cleanser, got rid of the garlic flavor from the chicken the week before, and now we can enjoy that dessert. And I mean, come on up here close, Dave. Like you can see how the glass is kind of frosted with the cold. We've got our coconut. It's a nice layer in there. You can see all of the air, the top of it. I mean, that looks like it's ready for the cover of a magazine, don't you think, Adrian?
Looks good,
Looks
eh?
good too.
Cheers.
Cheers. And we're gonna take a step back from each other and give it a try. I'm super excited. I love chocolate mousse. It's one of my favorite desserts, next to pavlova.
That was good.
Oh, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, you're gonna like this. You'll have to wait though till you're stopped filming. Oh my goodness, yep. That's a keeper for sure. And again, it's really quick, simple, only a couple of ingredients. Next week, we are done now with our dinner course. So you can take the last 6 weeks worth of recipes and put them all into one night. And we've got you covered from all the way from our little amuse bouche. We made deviled eggs, all the way up to the dessert. So starting next week, we're gonna be doing individual week recipes without a flow to them. So I thought it would be really cool to make macaroni and cheese from scratch. So nothing out of a box, from scratch, baked in the oven. And it's gonna also, I mean, the first time I made mac and cheese, it blew my mind how simple it was. So that's what we're gonna be making next week. And we'll make sure that Adrian gets some sent home, and hopefully we'll see him back soon for maybe another one of these videos. Let us know at home in the comments section if you want to see Adrian or any other special guests in our videos. Thank you so much for coming today, Adrian.
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad that you enjoyed this one, and we'll say bye. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Sprinkle! So good! Oh,